And so Julie, I give thanks for Julie at Krab Jab.
Right over here.
Right there. To say, how about you have a one-woman show and possibly have some of it represent some of your own ideas. And I'm like, that's perfect. That would give me the built-in deadline that I personally need. I'm one of those type that can't function unless I have a deadline. And so this was the deadline to do some of my own work. What I would want to do if I hired myself to do my own work, which is that's a weird thing to say. I never thought of it until now. How about I hire you to do this thing? I have a big piece. I wanted to do some really big pieces, and I have several ideas, and one that's going on. I go, well, I could do one because it's very detailed and big. I'm excited about it. But it's like I'll finish that, or I could do several smaller ones that would be something people could enjoy seeing and possibly buying and so on. So these take probably 2 to 3 days to do. And so this is the series that I did, and they're dear to my heart because for me, I love so many things, but animals have always come in, like when I need to learn something or know something, I'll have a dream, or something will show up in my world when I'm driving my car somewhere or something, and it will always be an animal or a creature. And most frequently in my dreams at night, where I'll have a very vivid dream. And my twin brother is a super animal freak. He's an entomologist, and he's very much into animals. And as a young person, I liked animals, but that wasn't my world. And so then later in my life, I would have dreams where animals would show up in my dreams, and I'm like, why is that? I'm not even like this huge animal person, but they would show up like a parrot, like a parrot showed up on my studio desk, like where the chair that I sat on at my studio table. I had this dream that this brightly colored parrot showed up on my studio chair and was bringing this and this is just one of many, but it's like, why would I dream about this? I'm not even into animals, and it makes me research the symbolism between animals and the messages that they bring to us.
They're spirit guides.
Exactly. They can be our totems, our guides. It's whatever we are attuned to listening to. And I think all of life can be that way. Doesn't have to be animals, but for me, those are something that's like, pay attention, listen, I have a message for you. It's a symbol. And so whenever they show up in my life, and they very, very frequently do, I do pay attention, and I research them, and I think about them, and I'll sometimes just barely draw them until this show came along, where it's like I actually want to pay homage, give them honor about their blessing to me in my life, because they've given me a lot of messages that are like, you need to go this direction, shift this, pay attention to that, go this way. that have been very powerful for me. So I have some pieces. I wanted to do some large pieces that actually incorporate animals and beings with people, because I'm more known to do people and idealized figures and that sort of thing. So I have some that I want to do that for as well, but at the same time, I also want to do some that are simply honoring the creatures that have certain messages for us.
This is the time when the bisons are starting to repopulate the open plains too, so that's particularly a powerful image that the spirit of bison.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. And yes, I really want to do a very large collection. I'm into the 7, so I think my next thing will be 7 times 7, so 49 of them. Yeah, right? And I'm thinking of a divination kind of, I mean, that's the most obvious thing, which I actually use in my own life. So I'd love to make a divination deck of these pieces and how they show up symbolically and what they can teach you and give you. For all of these years, I've been so much involved in being commissioned to do this thing, and so now this is a parameter of things like an animal or creature, and it's 7 inches by 7 inches, which I never get to work in a square format almost ever. So that gives me this parameter that's fun to work in. But mostly, with this project, I wake up in the morning and I go sit in my little cozy chair with all my books nestled around me and go, what do I want to do this morning? And it just turns me on fire. I can't tell you how exciting that is. Where it's not like someone says, I want you to do this, and we're going to pay you to do this, and you need to do this, and that's awesome, and I love it, and I honor it, and I'm so grateful for it, and, oh my gosh, just getting to do my own job of, let me sit in my chair and see what Spirit says is exciting to me, and sometimes it's, oh, I had this dream about this animal, or sometimes it's, I'm researching this technique, because they're all different techniques. I mean, I don't really want to admit to this, but I will anyway, because you're all here, and thank you very much. This one has melted diaper liners in it. It's a technique that I read about, and I'm like, that's so cool. So what do they do? Sometimes it's what being do I want to paint? Sometimes it's, there's this technique I want to try, and what would it work for what's exciting to me right now. So this is one of those. And part of the things that brings me to life is learning and trying different techniques. I'm kind of ADD. I get really bored if I have to do it the same way every time. So if I read books or read magazines or, some really weird kind of approaches to doing things really get me excited. So I'm like, oh, what could I do? What would I try? What would that technique apply really well to? And that excites me personally as an artist or illustrator. And the other thing that really excites me is learning about symbolism and ancient ideas and mysticism and this golden thread of wisdom that goes through all religions and all of everything. Right. I don't personally subscribe to any one religion. I honor and love all of them. So if I have an opportunity to study lots of them and try and embed different parts of any of them into an image to like kind of make it a mandala type of a thing that you can meditate on, or that you can just you can feel inspired by or uplifted by. I mean, that would be my ultimate, to inspire and uplift. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's everything from waking up in the morning going, I just want to try pastels today. I never use pastels for jobs. And so, like, say this one right here, that was all pastel. But like, if I like accidentally drop my coffee or spit on it or even smudge it, oh my God, it's gone. Like, that's scary. So I never use pastels for a job. It's framed and it's all good and no one's gonna mess with it. But I love, pastels are awesome. I mean, you can smear them around, then erase out of them, and I mean, it's so much fun. So I love trying different things. I love, obviously you can tell, I'm a freak about gold and gold.
Can you put the gold with the brush there?
This is where you paint the adhesive on with the brush, and then you put the 23, and this is kind of a new thing, the 23 karat gold. I used to use the composition gold leaf that's not
gold.
Yeah, well, it's not nearly as detailed and soft and, oh my gosh. I mean, okay, so I took a brush, like a ruling pen, like a crow quill pen. I dipped it in the stuff and made these little lines. And I had no idea that, I just didn't know I could make lines with the adhesive, and that it would adhere to it in these teeny little thin beautiful thing. Okay, the other fake gold would never do that. It just wouldn't work. Yeah. So it's if anyone likes the gold leaf thing, spend the money on the real gold leaf because it's way better. Yeah, it is. What else? I mean, they're just all kinds of things. This one has a lot of ink splattering and has some gold leaf going on. The crow has a rough kind of energy that, you know, I mean, it picks at things and it's textural, and I wanted that feel rather than a really smooth manicured kind of a feel. So it's splattered, and I took a lot of sandpaper and X-Acto knives and just scratched back into it. And I wanted it to be rough. This one was a thick paper. Yeah. So it just depended, but I like for the technique to speak to the essence of the what I'm trying to say about the animal. This one is a very elegant, the heron, very elegant, solitary being that for me, I love the shapes of it. It's white and black and just, it's a very, how do I say? I say my stuff through my art, not my words, so I apologize. Just designed, you know. So a graphic kind of a presentation. So I didn't want to like noodle out all of the details. I wanted it to be very Art Nouveau, Art Deco, very, you know, solitary designs.
More decorative.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Almost like a silk screen.
Yeah, it could definitely be that, so.
And then why did you choose a vulture?
The vulture, that one I haven't had a dream about, and it hasn't actually, I actually wanted to do a portrait of something red that wasn't normally honored. And that one came to me that way, where this is one of the most misunderstood type of birds or beings that there is, where it's very much about resurrection and you know, we look at it and we think it's about, oh, ew, it eats dead things and it's so gross.
Actually, the Tibetans, when they bury their people, they cut them in pieces and then the vultures eat them.
Uh-huh.
So they
Wow.
take them to the next life.
Yeah,
There's
wow.
certainly variants also.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of things that are very elegant. It's very much like the what do you call it? My words are gonna leave me. Where the phoenix that rises again. So I very much enjoyed giving. I know, how cool would it be to be able to give honor to this being that normally is like, ew, a vulture, it means you're gonna die or it's eating dead things. And I want to elevate it with this sort of thing and symbols. It's symbolic of purification and sublimation and resurrection, and so the symbols and the symbolism of the circle and the square being put together, all those different kinds of things. So it's just what I love. It's fun to do.
Well, thank you so much. Unless anyone has any more questions, Terese will actually be here for the rest of the evening till 9 o'clock. You're absolutely welcome to talk to her in person. She's super approachable. And thank you again, Terese.